So plan is I'm going to take you guys through a little day in the life, starting with a 5:30 a.m. run. I say run, it's going to be like intervals. So the plan is I'll tell you after I do it. But I'm going to get down there just now. Got a coffee to sip on while I'm driving down. I used to have a monster before doing running or doing any session in general, like first thing in the morning. But I was finding that I'd have the monsters, the Monster Zero, like the white one, goat, and then I'd find it kind of not bloating me, but it just wouldn't sit well in my stomach. So what I do now is have some coffee, double shot, absolutely spot on for running, going into the session. I feel like again I've got like a 15-20 minute drive to get to where I'm actually going to do the run, so it gives it enough time to kind of almost just kind of simmer a little bit. So by the time I get started my runs, we're all good to go. But yeah, I'm going to take you guys with me through the rest of my day. In terms of kind of what I've got planned for today, I think it's runs this morning. I'll get home, probably get straight into work, breakfast, walk Toby, that sort of thing, and probably spend a good amount of time in my office. So again, not the world's most exciting day, but it's the same sort of day each day. I don't want to start doing stuff differently just for the sake of the camera. And then I've got classes tonight, training tonight as well. So we'll train after we work, before the classes, do the classes, and then that'll be us. But I'll try and take you through some bits and bobs off the day and just make it a bit more interesting than what it normally would be in terms of me just speaking to the camera and stuff, just talking through kind of what I'm doing day to day, or what I'm doing through the day, should I say, and talk you through a few other bits and pieces. But yeah, I'll speak to you guys after my run. So hopefully you can see me. So just finished the runs there. As you can tell from my breathing and the sweat dripping down my face, pretty tough. It was more kind of speed stuff today, so exact same as last week's intervals. It was shit in my mouth. It was 10 rounds of 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So the 1 minute on was essentially not a sprint, but like a kind of sub 20 minute 5k pace. So I think I was sitting like 3:30s the minute on, and then the minute off was still try to keep like not a decent pace, but like a kind of recovery pace. So I think I was around about like 5 to 6 minutes per kilometre. So something really easy, but just to keep moving and not actually properly stop. So yeah, decent morning session, just 20 minutes in the bag. And it's just kind of committing to doing things that I'm not great at. So I think I've said this about a million times before, and running has never like been my strong point. When I was playing football back in the States, or even throughout all my years playing football, it's one of these things that when it came to games and stuff, I didn't really, like, running didn't really bother me, because anyone who has played football, or any sport probably, running with an intention of doing something, i.e. getting the ball, having possession of the ball, is, in my opinion, a lot better, easier than just running for the sake of running. Like, running isn't something I enjoy doing at all. I don't think it ever will be, but it's something I know I need to get better at, hence why I'm committing to it. So it's the same for like doing certain CrossFit things, or even like strength movements or Olympic lifts. Like for a long time there, snatches, like way back in the day when I first started Olympic lifting, snatches was something that I really hated, and for a while I put it off, and then after a while I just properly committed to snatches and getting better at those, and lo and behold I got better at snatches, would you believe? But same thing with the running. I know it's something that I can get good at pretty quickly, because just from my past experience with football and things, I know when we're out in the States we have to do like certain tests and stuff, and get certain times and things, and I know that when I commit to doing that, or commit to a consistent program of trying to better my running, that I make a lot of progress very quickly. So yeah, I'll keep going with this, and I'll stick to 2 days of running a week, I think. So the way I've got it kind of set up just now, for anyone who is interested, is like my training week. Mondays is long run in the AM, PM is strength stuff, so Olympic lifting and strength stuff, but no conditioning. Tuesday, just the one session, so it's Olympic lifting, strength, and then conditioning at the end. So quite a big session on Tuesday. Wednesday, today, it would normally be rowing intervals this morning, but because of the way, like when I'm on classes this week and how my work week plans out, what's going to happen is I'm doing this run today, this morning. So this is what I normally do on a Friday, so the kind of shorter interval speed stuff, and then I'll have a session later on which is going to be lower body, so legs. But I think I've got some strength stuff, Olympic lifting, before that as well. And then going into obviously lower body, I think I've got some heavy squats. And then Thursdays will typically be like a rest day or a recovery day. If it's like a recovery day, it probably will just be generally like mobility or on the bike. And then Friday will be the morning session, which would normally be these runs that I did just now. But what it's going to be is, it's going to be the rowing intervals this week. And then in the evening, will be, I think it's upper, so Olympic lifting, and then into an upper focus session, and then no conditioning on the Friday, because obviously I did the conditioning on the Friday morning essentially with the running, which in this case will be the intervals, rolling intervals this week. And then the Saturday will be Olympic lifting again, strength stuff, lower body again, back squats, or it might be front squats. I'm squatting a shit ton in my new program just to get my squat better. And then finishing off with like a big conditioning piece, so a pretty intense conditioning piece just to end the week, and then I'll have obviously a Sunday off. So yeah, that's the kind of training week. I think I've got that right. But yeah, it's I've obviously programmed myself, and in my opinion, it's been the perfect amount of volume for me. It's just getting that kind of bang for your buck, best bang for your buck, in the sense of it's the most amount of volume I can do in the week and still recover to an adequate amount. Like going into training this week, I felt great. I felt awesome on the Sunday evening going into Monday, and that's essentially what you're wanting. You're not wanting to get to like Sunday and be like fucking dreading training and body in absolute bits. So yeah, got it spot on in my opinion. Obviously it's we're only into week 2, I believe it is, week 2. Yeah, rolling into week 2, so time will tell, but so far so good. So yeah, gonna head home now and get something to eat, breakfast, and probably go for a walk with Toby. No, no. Face. So just gonna have my second breakfast. What I typically do, I say second breakfast, the first one wasn't really a breakfast. I had a couple of squares bars and a bottle because they just obviously pre-run. But what I'm gonna have is 3 large eggs, 2 big pieces of bread, it's like that Malta Bloomer stuff, and then protein yogurt and some grapes, I think it's like 200 grams. So in terms of like my breakfast, each day they'll tend to follow the same sort of protocols in the sense of what's included in them. So I'll tend to have a lot of protein very early on. I try and aim for at least 50 grams to kick off the day, just because it makes it easier to hit my protein goal over the course of the day. To be honest, it's not really something I struggle with, just because I'm on so many calories. It's not that difficult to hit your protein when you are on that many calories. But yeah, the kind of key thing for me when it comes to breakfast is finding something that digests very well, and it's not going to be lying in my stomach for the next few hours when I'm trying to work, or it's not going to be something that makes me sluggish. Like in the past, like a few years ago, when I used to have a lot of maybe sugary cereal, that sort of thing, first thing, and a lot of it would make me feel really sluggish post breakfast for a good couple of hours afterwards, even with like a Monster or a coffee or whatever. So it's kind of finding something that kind of works for me in terms of ticks the boxes with regards to protein, and then in terms of kind of like how digestible it is and how it feels in my stomach and how I feel post breakfast. So yeah, gonna get this down me and then probably take Toby for a walk. So just back from the walk with Toby and Ailey. Ailey's just heading off to the gym, should I say. So just gonna make a coffee and then get to work. My caffeine consumption is something that I talk about a lot in terms of how much I have on a daily basis, and to be fair, I know myself it's far too much. So I'm probably having like, on a standard day, let's say I'm training twice in a day, I'll probably have a coffee in the morning before my session, I'll have a coffee when I get home, before I go to my first kind of block of work, and then I'll probably, to be fair, I'll probably have a pre-workout before my next session. And while that doesn't sound like much, my coffee in the morning is like a double shot. The coffee, so yeah, as I was saying, the coffee in the morning is a double shot. The coffee I have when I get home, basically the one I'm having right now, double shot as well. And then the pre-workout that I have is, if anyone's had any pre before, it's not got like 100 milligrams of caffeine or anything like that. It's like 350 milligrams of caffeine per scoop. So essentially it's a lot of caffeine in a day. Even though it's only 3 caffeinated drinks, if you add up the caffeine in each of those drinks and total them together, it's a decent amount of caffeine. I'll very rarely have more than that. The only time I'll probably ever maybe have more than that is if, to be fair, I'd never have more than that, unless there's a little sneaky Monster in there somewhere. But like if there's a big gap between me starting my work block after my first session and maybe like say I don't work out till later on, there might be like another drink in there, another caffeine drink, but I try to keep it like 3 max if I can. And then at like the weekends and stuff, or days, let's say for example like a Sunday or like a Thursday when I'm not training as much, maybe just have like more coffees as opposed to pre-workout. So then my caffeine, obviously I might have a few more drinks, so I might have like 4 coffees that day, but the overall caffeine intake is probably a lot lower. It will be a lot lower because the caffeine that's in coffee is a lot less than in pre. So yeah, and yeah, it's done me no harm. Like, don't get me wrong, like I probably shouldn't be relying on caffeine, but I think it's one of these things that's made out to be worse than it actually is. Like, people nowadays on social media are just trying to find things to talk about and make out that they're like bad. It's done me no harm yet anyway, but in my opinion, obviously I wouldn't say to go as far as I go in terms of how much I've had, but I have kind of built up to that. I've not just like straight away gone in and started smashing that, but again, I know it's not a good habit, but I do think that like there's very minimal in the way of damage that it's doing to me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I'm just going to get into some work, and I always get I want to say I always get messages. I don't always get messages, but when people message me and like coaches and stuff and ask how I'm so busy and how I always have a lot of clients and things like that, this is essentially the reason why. It's purely just down to doing like the boring things or things that are perceived as boring on a daily basis. So your things like your programming, your check-ins done to like a really, really high level, and like every single check-in, every single program, showing up and giving it your absolute best no matter what. And I know that sounds really kind of basic and kind of bog standard, but in my opinion, that's the reason why I'm in the position I'm in, because no matter how I'm feeling on any specific day, I realize that I have to show up for my clients. I realize that I have to give like a certain level of service, because if not, people notice that, and people notice that drop in your service. So that's why every single time when I am jumping on like a check-in or I'm doing someone's programming for the week ahead, I have to kind of make sure I'm doing the absolute best I possibly can, okay? Whether that means taking that extra bit of time in someone's check-in to kind of talk through a few things. It may be spending an extra bit of time in someone's programming, getting little things right, and kind of looking like you should always be doing the bare minimum. You should always be looking back on someone's program from the week before and making sure things are in line with what that person's looking to achieve and how they're looking to progress each week. But even little things like adding in little bits and pieces for them, just to kind of give it that extra kind of personal touch. And I feel, in my opinion, little things like that are the biggest difference makers when it comes to coaches, especially when you get to a certain point where like I'm not like, touch wood, I never have struggled for clients in my whole entire time doing coaching, and I do genuinely believe it's down to that. Plus obviously other things as well, like always being consistent on social media and always being consistent in kind of what I'm doing in the background as well. But there isn't really a kind of secret. Like, I know everyone's kind of looking for this secret as to how to get this many clients or make this amount of money, which I think is social media in itself, alongside coaching in general, has gone down a really weird path where everyone's chasing numbers as opposed to the actual service they're giving their clients. So the reason why I believe I'm a successful coach, Ailey's a successful coach, our team are successful, and the guys I know down at the gym, Ian Wallace, like, were successful, is because when we got into this, and the reason we do this isn't for the monetary value, it's because we love it. Like, we don't just get into this. Like, you see so many people nowadays, and it's so blatantly obvious to me anyway, that people get into this profession for the wrong reason. They start to kind of calculate, right, if I'm charging this person this much, I get this many clients, I can make this much money. And it's these people who don't last in the industry because they soon realise they quickly burn out, and they aren't able to offer a decent service either, because it's not their true passion, it's not what they like to do, it's not what they enjoy doing. And I always think that coaches that have that passion and that burning desire to help as many people as possible, those are the ones who will always be successful. Maybe not in the beginning, like you might be a slow burner, it might take you a bit of time, but as long as you keep turning up day in, day out for your clients, whether that be you've got 5 clients, 10 clients, 15 clients, 20 clients, you keep showing up for those clients, and you will, like, your name will get out there, people will tell their friends about you, you will build a decent and successful business, all right? But yeah, today's plan is, again, what have I got to do? Where are we? I've got it on my to-do list. So plan today is I've got to contact 10 people. I've got it written down. I won't go into all the details, don't worry. I've got my PM shift tonight at the training club. I've got to do my weekly report for the agency that we work with. I've got programming to do, so I think I've got about 10 to 12 programs. I believe I've got about 10 to 12 check-ins. I've got social media to do for the training club as well. I've got my own social media to do. I also had a session this morning in training. I've got a session later on as well. And then what else do I have? I feel that might be, I've got to do stuff for like lead magnets and stuff like that, I believe. Yeah, I've got a few. I'm currently working on a project just now, so I might have time to work on that later. I'm not too sure. Hopefully I do, because I love working on things other than stuff just within the business. So I love doing things other than, like, don't get me wrong, I actually enjoy, like, really enjoy check-ins and programming, that sort of things when I'm not stressed for time. But I really love working on, like, new projects and stuff, and developing new ways of making the business better, and introducing new services and stuff. And I need time to do that. Like, I don't want to sit and have like 20 minutes to do that. I want to sit down and have like a good solid hour at least to kind of sit and work on that. So hopefully I'll get that today at some point, because tomorrow I've got a rest day, so I might be able to stay up a little bit later and do a bit more work, because I'll have more time, and like I won't have to get up as early tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's the plan. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you guys whilst I'm here, just show you quickly what I like. I don't want to show you how I plan everything, so I'm going to do a separate video on that probably. But the way I kind of work is I've got like a to-do app on my Mac, which is called Microsoft To Do, I believe it is, or Microsoft, is it To Do? Yeah, I think it's like Microsoft To Do. And then basically what I do is I've got like a weekly planner. So if I show you this, I've got like a weekly planner here, and basically what I'll do is just show you like a random day. So obviously there's nothing in this day, but this has got like each day for the week, alright? And then what I'll do is I'll put in what I'm doing for the week, so what I've got to do for the week. The night before, every night, I'll basically sit on my laptop or on my iMac and just type in what I've got to do the next day on my to-do list. And then on my actual, like, on Microsoft To Do, they've got like sections for projects. So I'll put in stuff for like work perform, I'll put in stuff for like the training club, my own personal stuff, like upcoming projects, potential projects in the future, like little things like that. And just I'll have stuff underneath those that are like tasks that I can get done at certain days, things that I maybe will get done at another time, or if I've got things that don't even have due dates, so just like, right, if I get to them, I'll get to them, great. And then that's basically how I plan. Like, there's nothing special, nothing crazy. Like, I know a lot of people these days are big on planning, but planning for planning's sake, in the sense that they got about 1 billion apps to use, it just makes no sense, because it ends up kind of taking away the whole purpose of planning, which is to be as efficient as possible, in my opinion. So yeah, that's basically how I plan out my days. And the idea now is I'll just get on with it, probably spend time now, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 5 hours in here, like 5 hours like focused work, minimal distractions, and then I'll head off for lunch, and obviously I'll chat to you guys when I have lunch, but I'll have lunch and then I'll head down to the gym. So yeah, I'll get on with this now. So a lot of stuff banged out there. That's me just finished up the kind of main work block of the day, so I don't even know how long that's been, but a decent amount of work in there. And it's one of those days where, like, every day is not like this, but it was one of those days where I just was super focused, very minimal distractions across the day, which is awesome. Check-ins went really well. Programming was a bit of a breeze. So just going to go head off now, get some lunch, and then head down to the gym. So just heading down to the gym now. I have, what have I got at the gym today? Where's my phone? I have got, I'll tell you before I get down there, because there's a high chance there might be someone there training, and I don't want a video talking while they're there if they don't want to be filmed, if that makes sense. So what have I got? Let me just open this up, if it opens up. There we go. So lower body session day, lower bias. Then I'm into skill work, so I've got like ring muscle up stuff, so just I think it's like 5 to 7 ring muscle ups every minute on the minute. So when it says 5 to 7, I'll probably go for 7 in that first couple sets maybe, and then the last few probably go for 5, I'd imagine. And then after that we've got like assault bike intervals. So I think I said earlier on there was no conditioning, but I suppose there is conditioning today, with the assault bike intervals and stuff. The skill work's not really conditioning, it's more kind of just, as it says in the title, skill work. And then obviously got a lower body session before that, so it'll be quite heavy. I don't think the back squats are too heavy. I'll try and get some footage of the back squats and potentially like ring muscle ups and the assault bike intervals and stuff like that if I can, if there's not too many people in the gym. Because again, I don't want to be like filming people when there's people in the background and stuff, or filming myself when there's people in the background. But yeah, I've already had my pre-workout. Normally what I'll do is I'll sip on my pre-workout on the way down to the gym, but for some reason I just decided to do it in the house today. I don't know why. But that's all been... Sorry, I'm getting random text messages through. So yeah, going to head down to the gym now, and then obviously just get started. I'll probably warm up for, like with it being lower body, I'll probably warm up for a bit. Not that I don't warm up for a long time when I'm doing upper body, but when it's lower body, I do have to take a bit longer to warm up. Like I do find like my lower back now is giving me, not, I don't want to say giving me jip, it's just been for the last few months, it's been a bit, like it's never been injured, touch wood, but just, it does feel a bit kind of tight going into sessions. And like, just to make sure, like you should always be warming up anyway, but just to make sure everyone's a-okay when I go into my sessions, especially when it's like heavy squats and got like RDLs and stuff. I want to make sure that I am firing on all cylinders, because I don't want to be going into a session, like I know what happens, but I don't want to be going into a session and leaving some on the table there. I want to be going in and giving everything I've got and hitting the percentages that are getting written for me. So yeah, gonna head down to the gym now, and I'll probably get some content for you guys hopefully in the gym of me working out, and if not, I will speak to you post workout, post classes, because I've got the workout and then I'm straight into classes afterwards, which always seems like a good idea at the time until you're absolutely fucked and have to go into classes. But again, the classes are great, we love doing the classes, me and the boys, just because the energy is fantastic. So I'll either speak to you, or you'll either see footage of my workout and then I'll speak to you after the classes, or it'll just be straight into post classes. Alright, so whatever happens in the next clip, that's what's happening. So just finished the classes, need to go and clean the gym now. One of, and probably the only downside to having your own gym, is then having to clean the gym after 2 back-to-back classes, having the shutter open, all the kind of stuff blowing in, chalk, etc. So yeah, I don't know how long that'll take me, probably 20-30 minutes, but like me and the boys always say, there's nothing worse than when you come in the next morning, and to be fair, it doesn't ever happen now, but like it's not been cleaned properly. So yeah, I need to make sure that's all good. Need to put up an Instagram post and get back to client messages, because what happens when you're away from your phone for even like a couple hours doing classes, it's good to detach from your phone. That's one of the best things about classes, is obviously mingling with everyone and just kind of like detaching from, I don't want to say real life for a while, but detaching from your phone. When you're a coach, when you're a business owner, you are kind of glued to your phone most of the time, so it's good to detach from that. So need to kind of catch up on messages, and anyone who is a business owner / coach will know that when you leave your WhatsApp for even like 30 minutes, you come back to a shit ton of messages. So reply to them, and then I'm just going to head home, and I need to, after I've cleaned and stuff, head home and get some food, because I'm still a little bit behind my calories. I think I'm like, I want to say like 1,000 calories off, maybe a little bit more than that, which isn't obviously ideal right before bed, but I'll have that and then kind of try and let it sit for a little bit. Like I said earlier on in the video, I don't have to be in bed super early tonight like I normally am, because I'm not up as early tomorrow, just purely because it's a rest day. So again, I'll still try and kind of wake up around about 5 o'clock if I can. Again, so if I wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm still feeling tired, feeling a bit beat up, I'll just sleep in for like another hour. You're not winning any prizes for waking up when you don't have to. It's going to end up kind of not causing more harm, doing more harm than good, but it's going to not really benefit anyone. And what I mean by that is, like, if I'm waking up at 5 a.m, say I had like 6 hours sleep, all I'm going to do is not give my all to my clients. I'm not going to be able to bring the energy. If I was training, which I'm not, but if I was training, my training would be subpar. So it's something I always tell guys is like, yes, it's good to get up early and get stuff done and things, but if it doesn't make sense, then don't try and force it. Especially, like, I've had guys come to me and say, oh mate, I got up at like I'm knackered, I got up at 5 a.m, I'm tired. It's like, well, no wonder you're tired. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. You can get up at like 7 a.m, get an extra couple hours sleep and feel better and probably do more that day, be more productive, because you got a decent amount of sleep, as opposed to trying to get up at 5 a.m. to be like some kind of like grafter when you don't really have to be doing that. Like, again, the only reason I'm doing that is just to kind of fits into my schedule. I have that ability to go to bed a little bit earlier. I have that ability to get up in the morning and go and drive to somewhere to go for a run and things, because I'm kind of on my own schedule, and I know not everyone has the privilege of doing that, but that doesn't mean you can't still get certain things done by maybe getting up a little bit later and so on and so forth. So yeah, before I keep talking, I'm going to go and get this gym cleaned up, head home, see Ailey, Toby, get some food, and I'll probably speak to you when I get back to the house. So just finished up burgers for dinner, and thankfully I didn't actually have that much or that many calories left still to eat to hit the target for the day. So managed to just get in the burgers, and I had a protein yogurt, and that has me good to go to bed. So buzzing with that. I actually thought I was going to have to be up a lot later. It's currently 10:30, so probably a lot later than my bed, or later than my typical bedtime as of late, so need to get everything sorted and get to bed. I still need to plan my day for tomorrow because I will not go to sleep without doing that. I believe that is one of the most crucial things to starting the day on the right foot. I know in the past when I've not done this, when it's come to me waking up in the morning, I spend a lot of time doing this, planning my day out. So it's good just to wake up in the morning, straight to it, have a plan there in front of me, knowing what I need to be doing, where I need to be, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what I'm going to do is quickly take some pre-bed supplements and go through the room, go through the office, get the day planned out for tomorrow, and just put away any bits and bobs. Like if I've got stuff out, like Ailey always puts my washing out to put away at the end of each night, so I'll put that away and then I'll head to bed, read a few pages of a book. I'm pretty knackered, I'm not going to lie, so I reckon I'll get about 3 pages deep and then just fall asleep. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I tried to make it a little bit different in terms of kind of just taking you out throughout my whole day, as opposed to just kind of picking and choosing where I take you guys. But as you can probably see, like being a coach, business owner, like trying to be an athlete isn't like the most exciting thing in the world. I'm not the most exciting guy in the world in terms of like I don't do loads of stuff, and I'm never really probably going to be the guy that does loads of stuff just for a YouTube or just for social media. That's just not who I am. I want to try and make this as real as possible. So yeah, next video hopefully will be, I know I said this last time, but hopefully the next one will be, I want to start kind of like a bit of a series on how I got from kind of where I was to where I am now. I know I spoke about it a little bit before in terms of like my journey, but I want to do it in like a dive a lot deeper. Oh fucking, I can't even speak. I want to dive a lot deeper with it, and that means probably having like shorter videos on certain topics that I know will probably help benefit not just like budding coaches or potential coaches, but also people who are just like looking to kind of try and, I don't know, I guess you could say, I don't want to say change your life, that's a bit extreme, but try and kind of chase their dreams. Again, I know it sounds corny, but it's essentially what I did, and what I'm currently doing is living my dream. Don't get me wrong, there's still times where it's really stressful, as with anything, but it's definitely something that I want to try and kind of like showcase a lot more to everyone, and just try and help out as many people as I possibly can. And then, as you guys know, if you ever need any questions answered or anything like that, just reach out. So yeah, as always, subscribe, follow, all that kind of stuff. I don't even know what to say on this, but do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.